think so.
Awesome.
So,
Hello.
I didn't do the mysterious fade up.
What did you do?
Look.
You
look.
pressed... Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, look, it's the logo.
Very good. Very good. Hey, everyone. Welcome to That Pedal Show VCQ Live. Mick is, as ever, a crispy pigeon, doing what he does best, twiddling the knobs, making things happen, watching that the green lines don't turn red, and everyone is happy.
Happier than a happy thing. Welcome, everybody.
Indeed.
It's Monday, which means it's VCQ.
Very good.
One day, Dan, when we've got more time, we can start doing things like jingles and all the rest of it. Oh, it might be a bit overexposed again. Look at that. Look at that. He's overexposed. Oh, no.
There's a little fella in there.
And who's in there? No one.
And then...
Who's in there? A little guy.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. It's not a big college town. Just endless enjoyment.
Can't tell or not. Greetings, everyone. Welcome, Monday. It's Monday, which means it's That Pedal Show, viewers, comments and questions with Michael and Daniel.
Hello.
We've had an energising day so far, haven't we, Daniel?
Oh, it's been fantastic. We've been discussing and planning and coffee drinking and yeah, all the shenanigans that comes herefore forthwith.
I don't know. I do look overexposed. I can't really tell. Maybe it's just the angle.
Got to get the angle, mate. There you go.
Might not be an IPS screen, you see.
Ah, I see.
Not good off axis.
No.
Oh, I still am pretty bright though. Blinkers. This is what you pay for, isn't it? This
It
is
is.
what you pay money for.
It is. It is indeed.
This is what you like.
Massive hello to BV, who moderates for us. Absolute legend, superstar. Thank you very much, BV.
Yes, thank you kindly, BV. In fact, on that subject, last week we missed a super chat.
Did we?
Yeah. And it was from... La 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 la. It was from... Oh dear.
No?
Literally no idea.
Okay.
I'll find it in a sec.
Okay, no worries. Cool. Okay, so we had the Frankenstein delay show last week, which was loads of fun. Had some really interesting comments and suggestions from that. So, yeah, we have loads of things to try.
The missed super chat was from @Rory. Rory, if you're on, sorry for missing your super chat.
Indeed.
And if you get to see this, great. Rory says he's got a Hughes and Kettner Pure Tone head.
Oh, nice. That's the one.
Which we have. But the original 2x12 is unobtainium. What 212 speaker combination would you choose? Would it be open or closed back? Would you run it at 16 or 8 ohms?
So, the Pure Tone cab is one of our favourite cabs.
It's a really lovely thing.
It's unreal.
Most people will know, or I'm going to make the assumption that most people will know Hughes and Kettner from a lot of their sort of technology-facing products. So things like the Tube Meisters. Hughes and Kettner were early into the digital modelling game.
Right.
Like neck and neck with Line 6, it felt like at the time.
Really?
Yeah. Well, certainly, yeah. Maybe not neck and neck with Line 6, but certainly they were early to the digital modelling game. And they were always very technology-focused. So then you had really strong marketing, really strong product development.
Can I ask a stupid question?
Yeah.
Hughes and Kettner, were they H&K?
No, there is a brand called HK Audio.
Right.
Which is the same people.
Okay, but it's not... Okay, all right.
Same people there in Germany. It's called Hughes and Kettner. It was a made-up name.
Really?
Yeah, made-up name because they thought Hughes sounded a bit American and cool, and Kettner sounded...
Like Jim Kettner?
Like German... like reliable German engineering, which is what they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Quite interesting. Anyway, I've been there many times, actually. They're very nice people. the cab, the reason for saying that, H&K, a lot of people know H&K for being quite a technology, or at least a progressive brand.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the most traditional products they've ever made, the Pure Tone, because it was sort of mostly hand-wired plexi,
no bells and
basically.
whistles.
And the cab was just a really, really nice ply vintage type 212 with greenbacks in it. So nothing complex.
It's closed back though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
nothing complex at all. So just a really nice 212 cab that's made out of decent ply. And yeah, it has Celestine greenbacks in it, two 25-watt greenbacks.
Yeah. Works so beautifully with that amp.
It's a great sounding cab.
Yeah, really
It's
is.
wired so you can use it in mono at 8 ohms, I want to say. And then in stereo, you can also use it in stereo,
Okay.
which may well be 216 ohms, which would make sense, wouldn't it?
If they're 16 ohm speakers, absolutely.
So that would make sense. So yeah, if you're really stuck, and if you're in the UK, go to, or not if you're stuck, if you're in the UK, have a look at Zilla cabs, and Paul will have something available that is a great 2x12 vintage style option for sure.
Yeah.
Failing that, standard Marshall 1936, pretty decent sounding cab. Even better in our opinion, it's a bit bigger, but the 2061 cab 212, the one you've got, is an astonishingly good sounding cab,
Yep.
but it is a bit bigger.
Yeah.
Anyway, good luck, Rory. Anyone that gets to use a Pure Tone in anger these days is a lucky person, because it is a phenomenally aggressively loud amp.
I need to get hold of Paul actually. That's Zilla, because I need to get a 3x10 cab done for the hook head. I got a message from Lee, the captain, this week.
Ah, nice.
He said, I hear you've got a hook. Tell me about it. Because I had them on the show.
Yeah.
And then I got a message from Pete saying, dude, these are killer.
Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So they obviously know they want to sell them, presumably.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently they're...
Good news. The pre-roll ad on our thing is the the Grip 6 web belt with no holes, no flap, infinitely adjustable.
Well,
I mean, there's a guy there saying this is the belt you need.
right.
Check him out. He's going, look, what you need is the Grip 16 belt.
Is that
Nice,
the one?
nice. We're getting some high quality ads on that pedal
Brilliant.
show.
Brilliant. Okay, right. Shall we? Let's kick off then. Right. Andrew McNeil says, "Hiya, fellas. After Mick's blog last week, I finally pulled the trigger on a Gretsch. Candy
Nice.
apple red, semi-hollow, double-cut electromatic with super Hylotron pickups. It's
Yeah.
absolutely brilliant. Thank you for the inspectation."
That's a great word.
What does it mean?
Yeah, I think it means when you inspect something. I think it's a bit of a comedy play on words, isn't it?
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, nice guitar, that. Be interesting to hear how you get on with it.
I'm so impressed with their modern offering. That Gretsch of yours is so lovely to play.
This Gretsch of mine. For anyone who didn't see, this week I did a vlog, or a vlog as Ainsley Lister calls them. On this guitar I put in de-almond Dynasonic pickups, which, as you can hear, sound awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's a very enjoyable guitar. But the old pickups were just a bit quiet, so, and a bit sort of. They had a nice basic tonality, but the guitar didn't really sit alongside any of our other guitars. So the
Sure.
de-almonds I haven't used it in a show yet. Maybe we'll do that on Thursday.
Great.
But yeah. Dave Thompson. Hi Dave.
Hey,
Thank
Dave.
you. He says, "Hey boys, I pre-ordered my Jason Isbell signature Telly.
Wow.
I'm nervous because it's the only guitar I was unable to play before purchasing. This seems to be the way of the future as brick and mortar dies. Do you have any tips on this?"
You know what? So, it's so much better than what it was. The CNC machining and all that stuff means that things that are coming out are consistently great. I will always try and play guitar before I buy it, but you're absolutely right. Often that's just not possible. So I've had good experiences and bad experiences with that. It's one of those things, you know, you get two guitars that are ostensibly the same, and there'll be differences between them, and you'll prefer one and not the other. Yeah. That's the beauty of being able to walk into a shop and try things out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think brick and mortar is dead at all. I just think it's going into a new phase. So yeah, for sure, your average medium-sized town, what do they call them in the US, mom and pop store?
Right.
That is probably on its last legs.
Mm.
But you know, good guitar stores still exist and still will exist.
Yeah.
And but maybe what you're talking about there is slightly higher end guitars. I don't know. Dan's right. Modern production is so good.
It's so good.
But you can't mitigate for
The
two
wood.
bits of wood being joined together.
Totally.
So I too have pre-ordered a Jason Isbell Telly for what it's worth.
Have you?
Yeah.
Awesome. You did mention that.
And I've had to do the same thing. So we're in the same boat, Dave.
Which one are you getting? Is the different?
No, it's just one.
It's just one.
It's
okay.
based on a custom, bound custom.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's like a light sunburst, and it's got a black pickguard, which I will change forthwith for a white one.
Right.
But interestingly, for a modern production Fender, it's 7¼ inch radius board.
Right.
Other than that, it's just a nice custom.
Nice.
Road
Lovely.
one. And the one that they had in the Andersons video just looked fantastic. So what I'm hoping is a veteran of... I will stop talking about guitar magazines one day because it's been a long time since I've worked on a guitar magazine, but veteran of guitar magazine days, you know, it's very clear that the ones you got sent were the good ones.
Mm.
So the ones they send out for review, you know, are going to be...
Banging. Yeah.
So what I hope it doesn't turn up and it's like £10 and...
Yeah.
But... So yeah, we'll see. Good luck, Dave, and I really hope you enjoy it. I really hope we enjoy it too. And actually, Dan, what I was going to say was, when it arrives, we should do an all our Tellys show.
Yeah, we should.
Because what have you got? You got 3 Butters, Red, and the 65.
Yep.
And you've got a grey T-shaped object.
So are we going to include T-shaped objects? You don't know.
I guess if we've only got 1 or 2 extra, that's fine. Because
Right.
we've got one other T-shaped object here as well.
Yes, I've got another T-shaped object that will be on the way as well.
Okay.
From Carl.
Oh yeah, of course. And Liv's Squire with the new pickups.
Liv Squire, yep.
So I've actually got 3 Tellys as well, or I will have, would you believe?
Really? Okay, well there's a show.
Yeah,
that'd be
I've
fun.
got my Sunburst one, which isn't here, the new Jason Isbell one.
But you know what everyone's going to say, right? Oh, Mick, you sound amazing on a Telecaster.
There's an unboxed purple Danish Pete one.
Is there?
Which we've never taken out the box.
We'll unbox it on the show.
Plus there's a G&L ASAP.
Oh, the G&L's a cracking guitar. Okay.
So there's like 10 guitars there.
All right, brilliant.
Let's do it.
All right.
All our T-shaped objects.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello from Bournemouth, says Dino Guitar Guy. Hello, Dino.
Dino.
Oh, how is Bournemouth? I missed Bournemouth.
I used to play the walkabout down to Bournemouth, and it was a cracking gig. Absolutely awesome. And Bournemouth is beautiful, and we'd go down with the kids and friends and stuff, and go down to the pier, and just what a lovely place.
Yeah, it's great. It's like my wife's family is from Poole, or at least they lived in Poole for ages, so we spent quite a lot of time there.
I had this really interesting thing about Bournemouth and about that going down that far south.
Right.
Right? And it has to do with the Spanish Inquisition.
Oh no, not yeah.
So there's a period of time when they're burning all the witches.
Yeah.
Right? Apparently, that whole witch burning thing, it didn't make it down that far south.
Right.
Right? Which is apparently why there's a lot of very attractive people down south because they used to. If
you were good looking,
if
they'd
you were
burn you.
if you were really attractive, they thought you'd bewitched them.
Huh.
Isn't that interesting?
That is interesting. I was listening to a show on the radio on the way in this morning. It was Woman's Hour, I think it was, and they were talking about makeup through the ages.
Right.
Where just on the same thing about being attractive, and they just assume that you're a witch if you're attractive. Apparently, it was the done thing for years and years. You weren't supposed to wear makeup because it was associated with prostitution and loose morals and all of that. However, women were supposed to look really nice, and so all this current trend among women for what do they call it, like naked makeup?
Right.
So you wear makeup, but it doesn't look like you're wearing it.
Okay, right.
Goes back centuries.
Really?
Well, a century or two. Yeah, and they used to do all these this stuff called porcelain, which was they do the ancient, or at least the 200-year-old version of a skin peel, which takes off the top dermal layer and all the little hairs on the face.
Right.
And paint this stuff on, obviously, which is all full of lead and everything. So
Sorry.
yeah, attractive people and this bizarre thing of witches, people being burned because they look nice and not supposed to wear makeup, but you must look nice. All happens in Bournemouth.
There
yeah.
we
God, I don't know.
But yeah, there we go. So
Tangent?
if you're new to the show,
Yeah.
we call that a tangent, where we just go off somewhere. There's no way back. Once you go down there, it's a hard stop.
It is.
U-turn.
And when we should be answering questions, instead we're talking about makeup in the 1700s. Vibhas Patil, always good to hear from you,
Hey,
Vibhas.
Vibhas.
He says, gents, what are your thoughts on a treble bleed in a Strat? Is it something you'd recommend to get better clean tones when rolling down the volume?
You know, it depends on. It's certainly a really easy thing to try, as opposed to swapping out all the pickups and stuff.
Yeah.
It's sticking a capacitor across the terminals of the volume control is a really easy thing to do.
Yeah, and certainly we've got friends who use them and swear by them. Andy Timmins is a good example.
Best, far out man. That guy's got one of the best tones you'll ever hear. And
Who loves the treble bleed.
has it on all his guitars.
I would say before you do it, if you don't want to modify the guitar in any way, my preferred way of doing it, in terms of making sure the guitar stays bright when you turn the volume down, is to get some sort of boost, a transistor boost. So something like, well, actually it doesn't even have to be a transistor boost, something that's buffered, but something like the Analog Man, Bad Bob, TC Electronic Spark, any boost will do it. And what that does is it just introduces a buffer in between your guitar and whatever else happens next. When you roll the guitar down, it will stay cleaner and brighter. So if that's your main requirement, i.e. the guitar stays brighter when you turn the volume down, just engage a clean boost and you'll find it does it without having to make any internal modifications to the guitar.
Yep.
And then you've got the choice
Yep, give it a go.
whether to do it or not. Incidentally, that's exactly what happens in a vintage fuzz style circuit. So as regular viewers will know, I'm a massive fan of fuzz faces for that exact reason. When you turn the guitar down, it cleans up, it's sparkly, it is that clean sound. It is into a plexi with a Strat, it's the best clean sound.
It's amazing.
Yeah, anyway. Howdy from Overcast Berwick on Tweed, says Pete Lawler. Hello, Pete. We are indeed blessed with astonishing weather.
Oh, it's been just beautiful.
Just amazing. Although the various plants that we haven't already killed in the garden are slightly confused. Because in the day they're like, yay, sun. And then in the night they're like, oh, frost.
Yeah, right.
So
it's so interesting. Whenever there's a sunny day now, because I've been here so long, it's mind blowing because there's nothing like England in the spring and summer.
yeah.
It really is the most astonishing place. It's so green and lush. But I remember when I first met Teen and was living with her and all of her English flatmates. Of course, we were living in Manly Beach, and every day was like that. And they'd get up every day and go, oh man, it's the most amazing day. And I'm going, guys, it's just a day. It's just a day, But being English, they were just attuned to any time the sun was out, You know, yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
And now I get it.
Christopher Panny says, it's Chris from Philly here. It's my birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Chris. Love the show. What a nice present for today. Well, yeah. I hope you get something more materially interesting, such as a guitar or a pedal.
Yeah. Both.
Or indeed, the love and companionship of your friends and colleagues. What could be better?
A TPS shirt?
Yeah, I think that would be better. Happy birthday, Bill. Scott C says, hello from Orlando.
Hello Orlando.
Yeah.
I was there the year before in lockdown, the August before that. Took the kids out to just fun.
Is
so
Orlando
much fun.
a city?
Yeah, it's
Or
in
is
Florida.
it an area?
It's like a yes.
Is it in Miami?
Orlando?
Is it
Florida?
Florida?
No, I think Miami's different. Than
Miami's
Orlando.
a city,
Yeah,
and Orlando is a city
yeah,
in Florida.
yeah. Massive place where all the parks are. Brilliant,
Yeah,
brilliant.
I didn't know if
fun.
it was a state
No,
not a
Orlando's
state.
a part of in Florida.
in Florida.
Yeah.
Nice. Scott C, I'm choking my pedals by running the level at Unity. Oh, am I choking my pedals by running the level at Unity at bedroom levels? I noticed with some pedals, such as the Tumnus and Shinjuku Drive, they sound overly compressed at Unity. This is really interesting.
So
Really interesting.
yeah, gain stages. If you're saying that the pedal just on its own sounds overly compressed at Unity, then I mean that is the sound of the pedal at Unity. Also, depending on what you're running it into.
Yeah.
But you know there will be the amount of headroom that the pedal has got. Depending on the circuit, how the gain stages are cascading into each other, how is whether it's diode clipping or you're biasing transistors, whatever you're doing. But yeah, at unity gain, that should be plenty of headroom. Yeah, it's overly compressed at unity.
I kind of know what you mean, Scott. I know what you mean. An overdrive pedal. What's it doing? It's limiting a few things, isn't it? Well, it's doing a few things. So first of all, it is compressing in a way because it's overdriving the signal and then it's clipping it.
Yep.
And then it's putting some sort of EQ cloak on that, either by shelving off some bottom end or some top end or whatever it's doing. It's changing the EQ relationship. And certainly, if you've got your average common or garden overdrive pedal and you stick it into your lovely big and round clean sounding amplifier,
Yep.
and you've got all this lovely fidelity and all the rest of it, think about a Strat, for example, into a deluxe reverb, and then you add this thing that kind of does that to it, then I get what you're saying. The other thing about running it above unity volume anyway is that the character of the whole pedal changes. So pedals run at lower volume and higher volume, the character of everything changes.
Totally.
Because it's overdriving in a different way.
Yeah.
And that's either a good or a bad thing. So it might be that it's actually compressing more when it's louder, but because it's louder, you're getting all that goodness from the volume of it.
The Shinjuku, that's a Dumble style overdrive, isn't it?
Yeah.
So also think about what's going on there EQ wise. It might be, if that's tightening up the bottom end, pushing all the mids out, when you hear that at what you perceive as unity, because don't forget, your clean tone, you're going to have all this dynamic content at the front of the note, very little sustain, as we showed in our sustain show. If you're comparing the volume of that, depending on how you play and dynamics in that, to the volume of the Shinjuku drive, where it's going to get rid of a lot of that bottom end, it's going to be very mid-pronounced and limited, gain-wise, compressed. Matching up your clean volume and your dirty volume when there's nothing else to give it context.
Yeah.
If you're in a room with drums, right? It's really easy. But if you're in a room by yourself and you're trying to match like dynamics and that sort of stuff, it actually can be challenging. So, yeah, I think the nature of the pedal, the nature of the EQ, and also comparing that to the clean stuff, it's going to do its own thing.
You're totally right about perceived volume. When we're setting up for the show, quite often Dan will set up a clean sound and he'll put the gain pedals on, and 99 times out of 100 I'll come back and turn the gain pedal up significantly, because there's sometimes even 7 or 8 dB difference.
Right.
But the distorted sound sounds louder.
Yeah.
And I just from years of doing it and watching the meters as we're setting up the sounds, I kind of know what's going on. And I know it off the meters, but audibly, what you're perceiving is a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Psychoacoustics, I mean, wow, what a...
Fascinating.
Yeah, endlessly fascinating. Seattle Phil says, cheers and thanks for all the goodness.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, Phil. Scott W, again, is that the same, different Scott W? Same Scott W? He says, with the new studio, Scott W, how about some TPS studio signals, collaborating with guest musicians and documenting the recording process? With the treasure trove of amps, effects and guitars, it would be cool to see what gear is chosen.
Interesting.
Dan is having the same reaction I had when I read the suggestion of sort of collapsing under the amount of work that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, one of the reasons that we're trying to get the control room and have this more as a sort of working space is to do things like that.
Yeah.
Whether we get that far or not, I don't know, but...
No, we will get the, TPS High Friday, baby.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like doing something like in the week I did a track for the vlog, and just recording that track normally when I'm not having to film it would take me about, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours maybe. Having to film it 2 or 3 days, literally that difference.
Yeah.
Just in hassle.
Yeah.
Which I'm not moaning, by the way. Getting to do this is a massive privilege, but the undertaking in having to film it as well as record it is
epic.
Is absolutely epic.
Yeah.
Although more hands on deck, maybe it's easier. I guess it's difficult when you're doing it by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but thanks for the suggestion, Scott. Richard Avila. Just wanted to say thank you for all the amazing content. What's your Desert Island digital delay?
Desert Island digital delay.
Free the Tone Future Factory.
There you go. Bang. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Either that or the Volante for me, I think.
I would say for me, the Future Factory. It just sounds so good. It has all the detail and the dynamics, and
I'm thinking
love
Desert Island though. You've got 4 heads on the Volante.
That's a good point. Yeah, so what? You got 4 amps. You take them anywhere. Yeah. Okay. No, but the stereo in the Future Factory is stunning. Yeah, I'm going to stick. I stand by my decision.
Yeah. What's my favourite digital delay? Free the Tone Future Factory.
Yeah.
Good day from a cold and rainy Utah, says Lustertone. Hello, Utah. NRGFX Neil's on. He says, hello, lovely blokes. Greetings from me and all the old folks here in Eastbourne, the Sunshine Coast.
Nice. Nice.
Hello, Neil. Anyone who didn't see, Dan built the crazy Frankenstein delay board in the week, and we used Neil's boosters. Dan used Neil's boosters as the EQ shaping.
And mighty, mighty fine job they did.
Indeed.
Yeah, really, really lovely. Great work, Neil. It's awesome, mate.
Kabuki Man 69 says, did you guys ever play with the old Muga Fuga units?
Yeah, totally. I had a delay unit that I sold. There were so many. I got so confused in the end by the amazing amount of just the different delays they brought out. But they really had something unique, and like all their pedalers do. Yeah, I really, really like that company. They brought out some really good stuff. I set up a Muga Fuga, let me get this right, tremolo for Stephen Wilson when I did his board build. Just wonderful, wonderful sounding thing.
Yes. I don't. So their compact series effects were called MF, weren't they?
Yes.
And then outside of that, there was, I think Muga Fuga might have been bigger format.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, I guess it's Moga Foga, isn't it? Given that it's Moog, not Moog.
Okay.
Apparently.
Okay. How would Samuel L. Jackson say it?
Badass Moga Foga. Excellent.
I want you to go in the bag and dig out my wallet. How do I know which wallet yours? It says Badass Moga Foga.
Murph Murphy says, it's Monday, I've got the day off work, and this is to buy you boys a beer for the awesome Forehead Delay episode.
Oh, cheers, buddy.
Cheers, Murph.
You.
Thanks. Isaac Morris, what would you choose for Vox Chime in a home studio? An off-the-shelf AC15 or 30, attenuated, or a V4 copper preamp through a small amps effects loop return? My 6-watt Supro gets plenty loud. Or would you choose something else?
I think you're hard pushed to go past the AC15 in the studio. They sound fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, really old AC30, stunning thing. But if you consider, like, if you're recording the amp, tricky amp to record, because to make it, to get that Vox sound where it's going a bit, you've got to turn the thing up.
It's loud, yeah.
And far out, man. They'll rip your head off.
That is loud.
Astonishing, but loud. AC15, I think, is a really wonderful recording amplifier. Straight out of the box. Sounds great. Now, saying that, the copper, if it is absolutely the Vox sound you want, you can't go past the Vox. The copper, for me, is more flexible. I think it's a glorious sounding thing.
I haven't actually heard the preamp yet.
Yes.
So I guess I think there's one on the way, or we had one. Maybe we actually have it. But if it is the front end of the copper in a pedal, then yeah, everything that Dan just said.
Yeah, it's really good.
But you've got to remember, I don't know what tubes are in your 6-watt Supro. 6 watts, probably one EL84 by the sounds of things.
Yep. So that'll be single-ended, and that's not the Vox thing.
It's a different sound, yeah. Because a lot of that Vox sound certainly comes from the power section. Yeah, I agree with Dan. That modern AC15 is such a good amp.
So good.
And it's master volume as well, so you don't have to have it cranked.
Yep. You can get a really great sound of that at not crazy volumes. Yeah, I'd have to say that.
Always enjoy playing ours, actually, when it's here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. Septic says, hi, Mick and Dan. Have you plugged your pedal board into studio monitors? I'm getting good sound for practice at low volume using analog power amp. Do a video on that, please.
Okay.
Yeah, you'd need something to get... Well, I say need. I personally would want something to do a speaker emulation job.
Of course.
Before you hear it through Studio Mons. But yeah, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I've been using the New Neighbor... what's it called? Big long word. But their stereo speaker emulator, I've been using that with headphones, and it's great at the end of a pedal board. Really, really good. So yeah, some good options out there for plugging in direct. That's what we need to do. We'll do another direct show, because there's some the simplifier. There's a bunch of new things out there that are just so clever, that worth having a play with. Me to you. Okay.
Speakers, Dan.
I know.
Loudspeakers, Dan.
Dude. My head's at home. Okay,
I'm
sorry.
being facetious. Well, slightly facetious. David Tompkins, I think, is calling me stupid, Dan. He says there's a fine line between clever and stupid, or sometimes just a sheet of perspex. David, we'll skip over that and get to your question. I rarely see signature pedals on that pedal show. Is it a conscious decision? If you mean our signature pedals, so the D&M Drive and the Harmonious Monk, it actually is a conscious decision. So often we'll go, shall we use the D&M Drive? We're like, no, people will just think we're going to try and flog it to them. Although we did use the D&M Drive last week.
We did.
And on Friday's show, the Harmonious Monk features extensively because we're asking vibe or harmonic tremolo.
Yeah.
So we do. If you mean artist signature pedals, no, that's not a conscious decision.
Not at all.
No, that is a purely a...
Quinkedy.
Yeah, what are our favourite artist signature pedals?
The
Myriad Fuzz.
Myriad Fuzz, the
Josh
at.
Smith.
Yep, the at.
Andy Timmons.
Yep.
Although we don't use it very often. Yeah, don't know. That's a good question. No, it's not a conscious decision. Pete Lawler. No question. Just a thanks for last Friday's show. Thank you, Pete.
Oh, thanks, Pete. Legend.
John Newquist. Hey Mick, just east of Petaluma is the pastoral community of Two Rock.
Have you been there?
No, I can't believe I didn't put two and two together until now. There's a Bill Crinard Brighton head for sale on Reverb. 5 minutes for me. What are your thoughts? I don't know what the Brighton head is. I'm assuming it's some British voiced thing. But yeah, I mean, Bill...
Brighton Rock.
Yeah, could be that.
Yeah.
Could be an EL84 thing.
Maybe.
Yeah, don't know. But yeah, Bill's just... I don't know him personally, but I know of him via friends, and I've listened to interviews with him and stuff like that. He's...
Switched on.
He's got it.
The lights are on and everyone's home.
One of my favourite ones was we were listening to the Vintage Amps podcast with The Truth About Vintage Amps with Skip Simmons.
Right.
And it's a really great podcast, and you think TPS has some tangents. Anyway, they're talking to Bill Crinard, and they get onto the subject of jewel lights, because they're talking about things in an amp that can make a difference. And Bill's like, yeah, and lots of things make a difference. And then some idiot said to me one day that if you take the jewel light out, the amp sounds different. And I just thought, that's crazy. And I went home and I thought about it and I tried it, and it really does.
It really does. I did that. I had that in my Pro Reverb. The bulb went. I got a new one, and I played it for a couple of months without the bulb. Put the bulb in, it's like, that's different. I think it's just drawing current from the...
Yeah. It's changing the way the whatever power distribution distributes its power, isn't it, I guess? MT. That'll be me then. MT says, morning gents, I recently purchased an overdrive pedal and I was shocked at how different it sounded in person. Do you ever buy a pedal without hearing it in person? And what is your experience?
See, very, very interesting.
Yes.
And we try and we talk about this as much as we can. The pedal is a part of the chain. You've got your guitar, pedal sits there, then there's the amplifier. Change any of those factors and it's a completely different sound.
Yeah.
And then also when you hear the pedal online, then you've got the miking technique, what goes through in the mixing thing, what you're listening to it on.
Yeah.
The pedal suddenly becomes a small part of that equation.
Yes. Food is a good analogy.
Okay.
Well, like chicken.
Yeah.
Here's my pedal. It's this chicken breast.
Right.
Right. What are you going to do with it? You're going to oven bake it? You're going to fry it?
Right.
You're going to cover it in masala sauce?
That's not my chicken. Yeah.
And it's exactly that. It's
sure.
But so completely. What can you do about it? Not much really.
Yeah. all I would suggest that you do, if you want to buy a pedal, if you've heard a demo online and you think that sounds amazing, I want to buy it, go and have a listen to some other demos.
Yeah.
As many, if you're really serious about buying it, go and listen to as many as you can. And I think what you'll find, and I think because we've done this so much, you get used to listening to something online, and then there'll be a commonality that you see in the pedal. And it might be the way that the mid-range compressors, or the quick attack or whatever. There'll be a commonality that you hear, and it might not necessarily be presented exactly the same way, but you'll be able to pick up on a commonality, and that might be something that you really like. As opposed to, I've built a Rat clone and this is it. That sounds amazing. I'm going to buy it. But it is really tricky. It's a really tricky one.
It's tough. It's the mistake which we've all made and continue to make is that believing the sound is in the gear, which might sound completely crazy for what is ostensibly a gear channel to say, but it's true. The sound isn't in the gear. It's about how you use it, and maybe the opportunity for you here, MT, is to figure out why it doesn't sound the same.
Yeah.
What is it about it that doesn't quite sound the same? And through that, you might learn a little bit about, or not even learn, that sounds condescending. You might come to some realizations about stuff like EQ, gain level, volume, stuff like that. When it was recorded, is it stereo?
Yeah.
If you hear anything we record, we've got 2 stereo room mics. So yes, you're hearing the mic on the front of the cab, but you're also hearing some representation of a room. Now, of course, if you're stood in a room, you're hearing it in stereo as well because you've got 2 ears. But nevertheless, it can sound a bit different just coming out of a 1x12 amp there in front of you.
If if you hear mix playing through a Dan Drive Tweedy or something, that's amazing, I'm going to get that. And then he's using a Strat 2-rock, and at home you get your Les Paul and plug it into your Marshall. You know what I mean? It's
completely different.
It's just part of the chain.
Anyway, good luck, MT, and we hope you get to some sort of resolution with that and find a way in which you can enjoy the pedal or return it, get something different, however it works out. Aaron Albus Band is on. He says, "Happy
Hey,
Bun
mate.
Day, legends. I hope you're both well. Dearest Dan, what effect would be most difficult to Frankenstein? The play out at the end of that show was ace."
Oh, bless you. Thank you, mate.
This was Friday's video where Dan did the crazy Frankenstein delabeled.
So anything... okay. If you look at a phaser and the way that the phaser works, and you've got an LFO that sends a waveform, and that somehow it changes the resistance value, you've got a resistor and a capacitor basically in parallel, and that's what sweeps the frequency. If you've got...
Do you mean like in a Univibe, for example?
You've got a Univibe, you've got that resistor is a
we were talking about
light-dependent
this
resistor,
earlier.
and you've got a light bulb there, and that flashing light bulb changes that value, and that's what gives you that. You've got to put all those stages in a row, bang. I've been trying to think of a way to create an LFO, but using like a motor so that you can actually see what's going on. So doing that sort of stuff and breaking that out into its parts will be loads of fun so that you can see exactly what's going on. You can do it with individual pedals. You've got things like the Spaceman effects and that sort of stuff that can just give you like control voltage out and all that sort of stuff. So I could do it that way, but I'd love to have a visual representation of what's going on, like with an LFO. But anyway, brain is going. I'm thinking about it. I'll work it out.
What about something that would seem ostensibly difficult, like a Shimmer Reverb or something like that?
Shimmer Reverb is easy, and we can do it. In fact, we will do it with the Frankenstein delay. That's going to be fun.
Okay, because it's just filtering and it's the feedback and
exactly.
So what you're saying is what's harder is when there's a complex electrical relationship with components.
Yes, when you've got if I'm trying to explain that, because the circuits in a phaser, the stages in a phaser, it's fascinating. And what I would want to do is explain how that works visually, as opposed to just, here's a box and that's what that's doing.
Yeah.
You know, we were able to, the important things in the delay, we were able to explain visually with these boxes. So trying to do that in a phaser, you know, we can do the chorus quite simply, but phases are a different thing. So, you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think we'll be doing a bit more of that.
Oh, yeah.
There was
It's so much fun.
General excellent response to that video.
Yeah. It was great. Great fun.
Jay Heesman. Hi, Jay. He says, guys, would you notice a difference in tone between a tube or a solid state amp if you plugged into headphones? I'm just deciding on my amp upgrade.
Tube or a solid state amp plugging into headphones? Do you mean if the amp has a headphone output?
Yeah, it depends how you're hearing that through headphones. So if you're micing it up and then listening to it through your DAW or your recording system, then yeah, you'll hear the differences exactly. Somewhat similar to if you were listening with your own ears. If you're using it as your main playing experience, i.e. headphones is your main playing experience, then I wouldn't bother. I would get something like a Strymon Iridium or something that is made for that purpose in the first place.
Yeah, sure.
I think it'd be a more satisfying way to do it, even something like the Boss Wazza Air headphones.
I use those. They're unreal.
Yeah.
We've got to turn the movement thing off because that just does my head in. But they're great, really great.
But if you mean, you know, miking up an amp, listening to it through DAW in a recording environment, then yeah,
absolutely,
you'll massively hear the difference. Which is not to say better or worse, you'll just hear the difference.
Mm-hmm.
How else could you do it?
If it's an amp that has headphone outputs, then what you're listening to basically is the preamp. And yeah, you'll hear it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. There aren't that many amps with headphone outs.
Yeah.
I guess many more sort of modern consumer type amps like Yamaha THRs. They all do one, don't they? Every brand does a little thing with the headphone out. And actually, I think it's hard to beat that for practice.
Yeah. Unless you're using something like a Captor X or something, and you're plugging your head into the cab simulator load box. And in that case, I would say, yes, you'll absolutely hear the difference.
Justin Baylog. Hi, Justin.
Hey, Justin.
He says, I just want to say thanks. TPS is everything that is right with the human experience.
Oh, my goodness.
Keep being creative, humble, and the legends that you are.
Oh, bless you. Thank you, mate. It's very
I'm the humblest legend this side of...
The humility of my legend goes far beyond your legend, sir.
I'm so humble I don't think I'm a legend at all on most days. Thank you, Justin. We feel the love. We feel the love.
I'm so humble all my hair fell out.
It's Vibas again. Vibas Patil, hello. I recently put 9s on my guitar after years of playing 10s. I was amazed at how relaxed I felt and how easier it was to play. When you experimented with lighter strings, did you notice a huge change in the tone of the Strat? Yes.
Yes, and the Telly. Okay, quick one on this. Yes, your hands have been conditioned to play with a certain string gauge, and there's a certain amount of pressure it takes. When you put lighter string gauge on there, it's going to be easier to play.
It's like putting training shoes on after wearing Wellingtons all day.
There you go. Now,
there's always a shoe analogy.
I had a great conversation with Tom Quayle about this a few weeks ago. Because I called him, we were just discussing some legato technique and stuff. And you know, in my opinion, Tom has the best legato technique in the world. He's unbeatable. When we did our first video with him, he had that bulbous guitar looking thing, and he's doing this stuff and just blowing my mind. I thought, well, I want to hear this. And we gave him my Les Paul that had 11s on it and quite a decent action, and he didn't skip anything. It was just perfect. So his legato is not based around having a really low action and light strings. We had a conversation about 6 months ago, and he says, I've just noticed that I'm, the hands are it takes a lot longer to warm up these days. I'm going to put some light strings on. Then he did a demo of a product I heard on the weekend, because I was really interested to see how it's going to go. He demoed a product I heard on the weekend, and it sounded awesome. I called him and said, "Hey, mate, I just want to know, were you using 10s with it?" He says, I went back to 10s. He said everything became... he just preferred the sound of 10s to 9s, and he just couldn't get the same sounds that he was getting with 9s. Now, there are loads of videos out there that say that's true, that's not true, whatever. In our own personal experience, I struggle to get the sounds that I love with light string gauges. The other side of that is if I put light string gauges on, it feels really easy and slinky to play. If I keep playing with that light string gauge, then my hands are going to adapt to that light string gauge. And then, so that moment that I feel that, oh, this is amazing, won't be there that long. It just becomes back into your normal, okay, well, this is how I play now. If you put the heavy strings back on, then you'll notice that your hands have adapted.
Yeah. There's a lot to be said for familiarity, isn't there?
Totally.
And that's it. You've learned to manipulate the guitar in a certain way, and so making a change, we've done it in the past. You make a video going, does strings make a difference? And you make the change there, and then actually you need to do 3 months of playing to know if that makes much difference.
Yeah, totally.
To a specific question about the Strat, yeah, it really does. And I think there's a lot to be said for a classic Strat set up with the bridge floating in the way they come from the factory, and lighter strings. And you do get that springier, bouncier, stratty sound. And if you want that springier, lighter, bouncy, stratty sound, it almost seems like that's the way you've got to do it.
Yeah.
However, that's not what I want from a Strat. I want it to sound like a sledgehammer.
Yeah, totally.
And in order to do that, it helps to have the bridge decked and some slightly heavier strings. And you'll hear on Friday's show a Strat tuned to E flat with 11s, and that's a whole other thing.
Yep.
That's almost like the polar opposite of the lighter strings and the bridge floating, and there's no better or worse in any of this. It's just what you're familiar with, and more to the point, bit like with pedals, knowing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So that you can manipulate it to what it is you're after. Yeah. And sometimes if, I had the black Strat there with 9.5s on it, which is as low as I can comfortably go without over bending and having to change a load of things. And it's a really cool sound.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, it sounds way closer to Jimmy using that kind of setup and those strings than I ever will with a decked bridge and 11s.
Yeah.
So
he was using 8s at one point, wasn't he?
I don't know. I'm always curious when I read those sorts of posts.
Well, I was told that by Roger Mayer, who was his tech. He said when he was using 8s.
Could you buy 8s then? No, that was
banjo strings.
Okay, right. Maybe they were available a bit more by that point. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The proof is in the hearing, isn't it? So yeah, go for it, Vibas. I don't know, there's just a lot of machismo, isn't there, around fat strings, and people who like thin strings tend to get very defensive about it, and people who like fat strings are like, yeah, my fat strings are so fat, man. It's like, it's all cobblers, just play what you like. But understand that it does make a difference.
Yep, totally.
James Bone. James, you super chatted, but there's no question, so we'll see if it's there in time. Let's see how we're doing on the old super, shall we? We may have to turn it off at some point. La 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 la, Daniel.
Well, I've got a quick one here from Nina Head DJ. She says, "Hi gents, Dan, what's the latest regarding UAFX and gig rig power compatibility? Might it be a UAFX inrush current issue? I'm actually working on this tomorrow. We're looking at it. The guys from UA have been really helpful. I've found some workarounds to it. But yeah, I'm working on this tomorrow, so we'll let you know.
What's the problem?
That the people are having issues powering the UA effects off the Time Lord.
Oh wow, does it
So
take like
it's just really
700 milliamps or something?
well the startup.
Okay.
So yeah, looking at that tomorrow, we'll find a solution. Don't worry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yes, I think we may well have to turn off Super Chat. We've got a lot.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Maybe no, we haven't got quite as many as I thought we had. Sorry, this is scintillating. This is the equivalent of dead air on the radio, isn't it?
What else have we got?
Sing this folks a song, Dan.
Okay. Actually, instead of singing a song, here we go. Andy Johns. Thanks, Andy. He says, love the show. Looking at a Messer Cali Tweed or a Fillmore 50. Opinion on the master volume on Messer amps. I need good sound at lowish volume with my amps. I think the master volume in Messer amps has always been really, really fantastic. I remember playing a Heartbreaker, and it was when I first heard it, it was cranked. It sounded amazing, and then turning it down is like what it was so good. Like being able to get that level of compression and attack. Yeah, I think the master volumes of Messers is really consistently great.
Yeah, I mean, like any amp, if you compare it loud and so you can feel it and all of that with it being quiet, then clearly it's not exactly the same experience. But yeah, I mean, Mesa know what they're doing. On the Cali Tweed or Fillmore debate, should be a fairly easy decision for you. Cali Tweed, very tweedy, grunty, mid-range, slightly aggressive, quick. All the things you would associate with a more tweedy amp. But it does come back from there in the way that certain classic tweed amps wouldn't. Where I think I'm right in saying that the Fillmore is much more blackfacey. I.e. most of the things that a tweed amp isn't, so not so urgent in the mid-range, slower into overdrive, sort of chimier and more bell-like, especially in the low and the highs. Yeah, you're going to enjoy either, that's for sure. It's
Totally.
just which one you go for. The other good thing about I don't know what's in the Fillmore, but certainly in the Cali Tweed, the power reduction thing, you can run it at, I don't know, some low watts, maybe 2 or 5 watts.
Yeah, right.
Right up to 40 watts.
Yep.
And it's really cool. It's a really cool amp.
Yeah, really cool.
Yeah. Ed E says, playing for yourself, trusting your musical instincts, etc., which is off the back of Dan's vlog. I do try, it makes me happy, but my vanity albums are unlistenable for everyone else. Hooray! It's unsettling on Bandcamp. Oh, no. Unsettle. UNSETL on Bandcamp. So Ed E's unlistenable music is called Unsettle on Bandcamp. If you want to go and listen to it. Yeah, there's a great meme that comes up on Instagram every now and again, which is a dog doing a poo and a little kid looking over at the poo coming out of the dog's anus going, ugh, and it's annotated with the dog as you, it says me, the poo as my latest album, and the little kid looking over going, ugh, going, all my friends and family. That's basically the truth, isn't it?
Yeah,
Sorry, I keep doing that.
The big thing is not getting the art and the product mixed up. If you're producing something that you want to be able to sell, then you're producing a product, and it's a different proposition. if you're sat at home playing guitar for yourself and you're enjoying it, then that's awesome. Creating art commercially, there's a dichotomy, the most amazing dichotomy that exists between those two, and always has, always will. You know, the art being the product that is sold to make money. It's really, really hard.
It also assumes that you can make that dichotomy internally, i.e., are you capable of doing something that's commercial and saleable, or something that's artistic and that makes you happy?
Yeah.
I am incapable of neither, because the former, I wouldn't know where to start. The latter, everything I do, I hate. So it's like
Spoken like a true artist.
I don't even like it. So, you know, I don't even mean to be self-deprecating about it. It's just a statement of fact.
God, you're funny.
So you get into this whole, is it art or is it commerce? It's like, well, maybe it's none of the above. Maybe it's not your medium.
No, I think the issue is when you're recording your own stuff and you're sat there and you've listened to it 100 times over and over, trying to mix things and fix things. It's like it stops becoming a song and becomes something completely different at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
And you can't listen to it like you would listen to it.
Focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky, really tricky.
Yeah. Maybe. Russell Raymer says, Mick, the whole thing was great. I love the wah-wah bit. I presume you're talking about my vlog in the week.
That was wonderful.
Thank you. I enjoyed the wah-wah bit. Yeah. Sean Chun. Hello, Sean. Sean says, hello from Bethesda.
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 Bethesda. Bethesda.
From Bethesda, Maryland. I often find that I'm not always listening and reacting to what I'm really playing. Instead, I'm listening to the mythical goal in my head. Any suggestions to snap them out of it?
So that is really interesting.
Yeah.
For me, the master of listening while you're playing is David Gilmour. He has this ability to just take in everything around him while he's playing. Whereas I find that so hard because I'm so focused and concentrating on what I'm playing. But when you get to a point where you are listening and you are then reacting, that's when it all becomes sort of symbiotic and turns into something else, which is magical. Yeah. But playing while listening is a skill.
Yeah. It's what you're describing is the difference between being in the present and being conscious and psychological time. So psychological time is the future and the past.
I feel like I need to ring that little bell.
Yep. Bing. Well, it's philosophy, and you want to know how to snap out of something in your head. Philosophy is a good place to start. And so when you're saying, I'm listening to the mythical goal in my head, what you're doing is you're putting down the present thing that's happening, what is, and you're substituting it for what you want it to be. And that is, well, it's the disease suffered by humans across the world in every single thing you can think about. Most people are entirely mind identified the whole time. Most people are entirely thinking about the future and the past all the time and not thinking about this present moment. What Dan's talking about with David Gilmour is, and I would say any great artist, rock climber, motorcycle racer, anyone who is required to be in the moment, you know, obviously if you're not in the moment as a rock climber, you fall off and die. Same as if you're racing a motorcycle, you know, you can't be thinking about how you're going to cook your steak for tea when you're going around a corner at 126 miles per hour with the back wheel spinning. So you need to be in the moment. And I think if there's any way of being in that moment instead of worrying about everything that isn't, that's how you do it. But how do you do that?
Yeah.
And I think being aware that it's happening is probably a good first step. So it can happen in more mundane parts of your life where you realise you should be doing something or concentrating on something. or just being, we're being here now with Daniel, and just let that moment being. And if you find your mind off wondering, and I'm going, oh God, what if the internet connection goes down, or I need to be out of here by 7:05, otherwise I'm not going to pick the dog up. That's all psychological time. It might be practical to think about these things, and it might be worth planning ahead so that they don't happen.
Yeah.
But if
It
that's
takes you out of the moment.
if that's where your mind is, and that it explains everything from stage fright to not pulling off the solo that you've been trying to get right, to not singing the intro correctly, to that weird chord in the middle eight that you always seem to get wrong. Because why? You start thinking about it when you're 2.5 bars away. Your brain tells you you're going to get it wrong, and lo and behold, you do.
Yeah.
So, a little bit
I'm
philosophical.
the king of that.
How do you snap out of it? You find some way of being in the moment. I don't necessarily know how you do that, other than feeling it.
Yeah. Breathing.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
Being relaxed.
Yeah.
What else? Sometimes like having a conversation. Sometimes I try and think about playing like having a conversation.
All right.
So I'm saying something.
Okay.
And that sort of forces you to think.
Sorry.
You're saying, put me down. Is that what you're thinking?
Just thinking, ah!
Yeah. So it's, trying to force your concentration and your focus onto what's happening at this. It's being pretentious.
Yeah.
Pretentious. It's being present and conscious is what it is.
Totally. I mean, what I find when I was actually get back to training jiu-jitsu soon, fingers crossed, but I found that incredibly helpful because you have to be in the moment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get choked out.
Otherwise, he's going to stick his thumb right up your bum.
But it's like surfing. It's the same. You've got to be in the moment. All that stuff keeps you.
And that's what makes all those things so awesome.
Yeah.
Is that you are in the moment.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
There you go. How are we doing?
Probably better turn Super Chat off, I think.
Okay, all right.
So, for all of you who've Super Chatted, thank you.
Thank you so much.
We will get to you. We will get to you before the end of the show. For everyone else, I'm going to turn Super Chat off now. Otherwise, we will run out of time. Jolly good.
Sorry, I've lost it. I just saw a comment on here. Luke Wilson asked us to say hello to his friends Paul and someone else because it would make him really cool. So there we go. Shout out to Paul, and I think it was Logan. I'm not sure. Anyway, as you were.
As you were.
I'll try and find it.
Sorry. We missed a couple early doors, so I'm just gonna. Yo from Philly, says Raphael Curti Freitas. What's your favourite guitar-related topic of late and over the years? What are you tired of?
Oh, wow.
Is there a TPS playlist? And stay beautiful.
My favourite topic is anything by Tom Bukovac. I can just sit and listen to him play and just talk about guitars forever. Today I watched the Homeschool on 103. Where he bought a P bass, I think it's like the 60th one ever made. It's unreal. And he said he had a problem with the neck, right? It was really kicked up. And his luthier guy had to put different size tangs in and different parts of the neck to straighten it out.
Oh, wow. I've heard about people doing that.
And he did it. He said it's amazing. But I just, So, love watching Tom Bukovac. There's some really great knowledge out there. Tim Pierce, I love listening to his recording stories. And watched the video with him today. Was talking about when he writes the songs, he just starts with a drum groove and he can just write straight away. As soon as he's got that groove going, and he said, my friend Vinny Colaiuta sent this over to me, and I'm like, well, if your mate Vinny Colaiuta sends us some stuff, you got a pretty good thing to start with. But there's some really good stuff out there. I'm not really sick of anything because I think everything's valid. I like listening to stuff that I'm wouldn't normally jump in at because I think there's some really wonderful learning opportunities. Like I'm not a metal guy by any stretch, but I really like listening to Ola because he's really interesting. What else? Tim. You go. Let me find this.
Favorite guitar related topic. Couple of things. Even after 35 years of playing them, I'm still learning things daily about Strats. And it will never not fascinate me. The minutiae and interesting stuff. For example, I'll give you one example. One friend and one person who I don't know, who I suspect is going to become a friend, have just very kindly sent me some pickups, and they've said, we want you to try these because we think you'll like them. But partially because the middle pickup isn't RWRP. And that's something that I've known about for 10 years, maybe more. And so I'm interested to hear it.
Yeah.
And so that I find that interesting, not because there are any truths or, better or worse, but just for the personal experience, because it's that personal experience over all these years that help you decide the kind of things you like and you don't like. So I think Strats, learning more about Strats is definitely my favourite guitar-related topic. The other one that I'm really unravelling at the moment, and both of these have a flip side, by the way, which is the stuff I'm tired of. The thing that I'm unravelling is the relationship of volume and why guitars, to me anyway, just don't work without volume. Like, it's not the same instrument without volume. And it's to do with the resonance that happens between the speaker and the instrument and you as a human. And I'm starting to understand a bit more about that. So that's probably one of my favourite topics at the moment. The flip side of both of those things, the things that I'm tired of, is spending 98% of my guitar playing time asking questions about gear and 2% being creative.
Right.
And I'm really tired of that. But it's a choice, obviously. And similarly, with the volume thing, trying to defend a position.
Yeah. Okay.
I used to get so angry about people saying how great digital modelling sounds and stuff, and I'd want to defend this position that I didn't think it did, and I'm just over all of that. And I think a lot of the work that we've done on this show just arrives you at that point that says, do you know what? It's all good.
Yeah, totally.
It's just all good.
Yep.
Just play what you like and nothing else. Life is too short to be playing stuff you don't enjoy.
Totally.
So just enjoy what you enjoy. Don't judge anyone else's choices because they enjoy what they enjoy.
Totally.
You don't need to be defensive. You don't need to prove your point. All you need to do is enjoy it.
Yep.
And so, yeah.
Totally.
Enjoying it.
Last thing for me, I discovered Tim Lurch.
Ah, yeah.
The most...
Man, he's a player.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
He is stunning. And he is so open and free with his knowledge. And he has some real, absolute gems of wisdom. But his Telly playing and his tone are just stunning. Absolutely stunning. So I've sort of been ingesting Tim Lurch. Just beautiful.
I remember seeing a really great video of his playing a Collings LC, one of the East Side Jazz guitars.
Right.
Whoa,
Yeah, he's beautiful. Really beautiful.
Blimey O'Reilly. Yes. Sorry, momentarily great question though. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Duncan Plexico says, greetings from LA, once home to Nam. It will be again, Duncan.
Yeah,
It
we'll
will
get
be
there.
again.
Don't worry.
When might Dan's pedal board be revealed? Will it include MIDI mapping? I love you, lads. We love you, Duncan.
Yeah. So I'm filming that at the moment. I don't know. Let's say 3 weeks. We're filming again this week, so I'll probably finish the vlog off next week, and then so safely say the week after that, by the time it's all done. So yeah. 3 weeks from this Thursday. So 2 weeks from this Thursday. Not this Thursday, not the following Thursday, but the Thursday after that.
Okay. That we'll film it.
No. Actually,
you're doing a vlog?
I'm doing a vlog on it, but we can do it. We can film it.
Yeah. Sorry, I wasn't listening because
we'll
I was
discuss it
reading.
anyway soon. It's all happening soon.
Missing Q from James Bone. BV, thank you for sending that through. From the San Francisco Bay, California. He's using disaster area Evo plugs to couple on 11 pedals. Disaster area Evo plugs to couple on 11 pedals. I can't tell if it's the Mondo causing the hum or if it's the solderless plugs. Okay, he's got 11 pedals.
I think I know what this is. This is the solderless.
Disaster area Evo plugs.
Okay.
So is his Mondo power supply or the solderless plugs causing hum?
Let's have a look. Okay, we did a video on this ages ago. You need to check that your when you use solderless cables, it's really easy to tell if the signal connection is working because you get sound. But if you don't have a decent ground connection, then you can run into real problems. So you need to make sure that you're measuring the resistance from tip to tip, but also from earth to earth, outside of the plug to the outside of the plug, and make sure that you've got like a zero resistance there. So if depending on the power supply you're using, you need to do method of what do we call it?
Yes.
What do you call it?
It's where you process of elimination.
Process of elimination. Thank you. Just take. So if the pedals are true bypass, it's really simple. Just take the power out of all of them, put them all on bypass, take the power out of all of them, plug them in one at a time, turn them on one at a time, see what's going on. Yeah. Troubleshooting is a interesting, really good skill to know, but it all comes back to process of elimination. Just go back to the basics. Plug your guitar into the amp, make sure that's
One by
okay.
one.
Guitar into the first pedal, try that. Guitar into the next pedal with that patch cable in, try that. Power supply, all that stuff. There's no getting around it, there's no shortcuts with that stuff.
Angus M, can you comment on the differences, advantages of Harmonious Monk versus the Chase Bliss Gravitas? Thank you to my favourite pedal gentleman, all my best from Canada.
Gravitas.
I was just looking to see if we've got it, and I can't see it anywhere. Well, it's from Chase Bliss. I don't even know if they make it anymore, actually.
I'll tell you.
Do they? Yes, they do.
Oh, okay.
It should be excellent. I mean, it's Chase Bliss. It does all the things. It's got a clean boost in it. It does harmonic and non-harmonic, and it mixes them.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that it is right up there, at least, with the Harmonious Monk.
Yeah.
Have
to give that one a whirl.
Yeah, I thought we had one.
No, I don't think we've ever had a tremolo. No. Got everything else. We had the Condor that did something similar.
Condor's EQ, isn't it?
Condor is EQ, but you can separate you can have two things running, separate the bass and treble, and get them doing that.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, and it sounds very similar.
Dead one of those.
That's very good. That's very good.
Yes, it'll be excellent. We should have a listen. Well, obviously all analog if it's Chase Bliss as well, which will be rather beautiful. If you want to hear more of the Harmonious Monk, it's featured quite a lot this Friday when we asked the question, vibe or harmonic tremolo?
Indeed.
Wes Chilton. Hello, Wes.
Hey, Wes.
I'm getting my second COVID shot today.
Good
In a
man.
week, I'll be able to go back to the studio and cut some tracks. Good on you, Wes.
Nice. Well done, mate.
Hope you don't feel too rubbish. Sean Gerolomitos. Sean Gerolimatos.
Good.
Yeah. Hi guys, I just built a Mojo Tone AC style amp, and the volume, bass and treble on the Brilliant channel affect the normal channel. Ever seen this on your AC amps? So he's got some sort of crosstalk going on.
Yeah. So if I think of my Tweed style amps, it's very common. There's lots of interplay there. I don't really get that on my AC amps. Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose there's some logic that it would, because on those old, what are essentially multi-channel amps, they have more than one channel and they're always active. So what Dan's saying about the Tweed thing is right. You know, that even though there's nothing plugged into it, that other channel is active. So if you turn the controls, I think some sort of switching happens when you put the jack in.
Right.
But
Yeah.
but it's still alive. It's not.
Sure.
It's not dead.
Yep.
And one would then assume it's still drawing some sort of power. Is it? The channel is drawing some sort of current.
I don't know. I'd have to have a look.
I.e., it's a circuit that's always connected.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It's there,
Everything affects everything else, right?
yeah.
So, yeah. I just know on the Lazy J, the 5v3 style thing, I'm plugged into the Brilliant channel, but I kick the normal channel on a little bit, just lift the bottom end a little bit, which is lovely.
Well, good luck, Sean. Hope you enjoy the amp. Tom Brumby says, "Hey boys, no one ever puts a P90 in the bridge position of a Strat. Why not? Will it balance? I'm going to try it. And any tips for tone and pot values?"
Oh, interesting. No, you should be okay with standard Strat pot values, which would be 250k. The P90s will be fine on that. I've seen more of the exotic guitar builders have P90s in the bridge position. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, Fret King did some with P90s.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, it should work great, shouldn't it? Sort
Yeah.
of just a fatter, bigger single coil sound. I mean, it is on traditionally P90s have 500k pots, which in theory at least lets a bit more high end through. But depending on the P90, you shouldn't be struggling too much for that in the bridge position. And yeah, you just get a fatter mid range, bit more output. Should work great.
Lovely.
Should work great.
Yep.
Jolly Willard. Lovely playing on the Gretsch video, Mick. Thank you, Jolly.
Yeah, well, excellent.
For more of that sound, I listened to Creedence. I had a laugh at a one-note solo on Trombone Shadow, Tombstone Shadow. Do you have any favourite one-note solos? Bad Boy Boogie by AC/DC is killer.
A one-note solo.
Isn't there a famous Who song with a one-note solo? Is it I Can See for Miles, maybe?
Okay. Yeah, have to have a think about that.
One-note solo. Yes, Townsend played a one-note guitar solo on this song. Yeah.
I can see there are times when that would be appropriate.
Like when you're a bit tired.
I'm a little bit, yeah.
You're like,
I haven't had a cup of tea.
I don't really know what to play now.
No, yeah.
We shall have to have a listen to Tombstone Shadow by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Yeah, nice. Dave Lee. Hello, Dave. I've been thinking about Dan's Squire upgrade blog. How much of a vintage Telly would you need to put on the Squire before it became something you'd want to play? What parts would have the biggest impact?
Okay. The neck. It's, obviously it's super important. Oh boy. I mean, it all, Nick picked up my 65 when we were recording last time. I just had it play and he was like, this guitar is so resonant. I'm like, yeah, it is. And that's what I connect with. And that's everything. From the nut to the bridge to the body and everything. It's the guitar has to work as an instrument. So I find, upgrading pickups and bits and pieces here and there, it's definitely great and definitely has a place, but I find it really difficult to imagine what a guitar is going to sound like if I improve X. I tried to stop doing that a while ago, and just to pick up a guitar and it's either connects with me or it doesn't. Because buying a guitar for its potential is something I find really tricky.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the pickups is going to be the biggest.
Well, pickups, all the electronics.
Yeah. Yes, pickups, pots,
yeah,
wiring harness and caps is going to turn a humdrum guitar into something potentially much more exciting.
Yeah, if you like the guitar.
Yeah. Yeah, case in point, the dear old Casino. I don't know what they are now, but it was never a very expensive guitar.
Mm.
And I bought it on eBay for 290 or 270
I can't
quid.
believe that.
And put 250 quid's worth of pickups in it.
It's unbelievable.
So
such an amazing sounding guitar.
Yeah, now it's a really astonishingly good sounding guitar.
Yep.
Now I can't change the shape of the neck. I can't change the hateful finish. So if I don't look at it, I really love playing it. And it does sound really blimmin' brilliant.
It does.
But have I been Googling Gibson 330s all week? Yes, I have.
Yeah.
And I rather think I'm going to buy one.
I think you are too.
Yeah. So, which is ridiculous because that guitar tonally
It's fantastic.
is good.
Yeah.
And it sits along outside everything else. There's no reason why that guitar shouldn't be my Casino type guitar forevermore.
Yeah, totally.
So it's not all about, unfortunately, it's just not all about the sound at the end of the day, is it? It's about the feel, it's about the look, it's about your bond with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, pickups is going to make the biggest difference. Hardware does make a difference, very definitely. I mean, right down to stuff like tuners, like
totally.
overly heavy tuners can do good or bad things for a tone, or it can really change the tone of the guitar.
Yep.
Bridge, what all the various bits are made of, whether it's brass saddles or stainless steel. And I guess that you just got to go through it and do it. And a Squire
100%.
would be a great place to start with that.
100%.
Yeah. Triggers broom.
We need, I forgot we need to give Arpad a shout out.
Oh, yes. Medieval Cookery with Arpad. Arpad comments on our videos every now and again. Don't know if you're on tonight, Arpad, but we finally checked you out.
Brilliant.
When we saw when we saw your logo and the name of the channel, we thought, wow, that's really interesting. I wonder what that is. Because obviously a lot of people on social media have slightly comedic handles. But nope, Medieval Cookery with Arpad. There he is in a forest doing medieval cookery. Please check him out.
Swords up the chicken's bum.
Well, it's
on the fire.
It's
awesome.
His opening shot is him there with his chicken.
It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Arpad, thank you for being with us, and thank you for doing medieval cookery on YouTube.
Yeah, man. Wonderful.
There was some sauce that you'd made the other day. I was like, I'm totally going to try that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my daughter's friends does medieval battle reenactment.
Right.
And he comes home from on weekends, like, they're full on, and they get taught how to do it, but he gets bruised up and stuff. I mean, it's really brutal. So I've joined.
Whatever floats your boat, I suppose.
Oh, it's unreal.
I suppose it'd be put on some chainmail.
Yeah.
Run
all
around
that
a field.
stuff. Yeah. Brilliant.
Have a few tankards of ale and a cup of mead.
I'll try and be really short, but years ago, us and some very close friends of ours went for a holiday in Cornwall, and we went to this castle. It was beautiful. They had these, it was like a big, all this stuff going on. Anyway, the kids all got dressed up, and there must have been 200 kids, and they had these like battles in this castle, and they ran off and played for a bit, and then Zach was like, Dad, check this out, and we walked down, and there were kids like playing dead all over the castle grounds and stuff. It was the most amazing. They had the best day. They're just running around pretending to be in these battle scenes, but in this castle.
Awesome.
It was just the best thing ever. So good.
Did you discuss the ideological significance of legitimising violence between separate groups of people in order to gain power?
I rounded them all up. I sat them all down in the keep. I said, right.
Okay, kids.
We need to go through
Violence
this.
isn't good, MK.
Honestly, they had the time of their lives. It was fantastic.
Paul Matulevich says, I finally got the super chat working on my phone. I wanted to see that Catherine got a hazard pay for the monk fiasco. Anyway, I know it's been a while, but what did Dan think of Analog Man's Telepickups? First of all, Paul, I'm guessing you're the person who we sent a monk to, it got lost. We sent another one to, it turned up, etc. And we all got it resolved in the end. Thank you for your patience. What does Dan think of Analog Man's Telepickups?
So I've got what does he call it? Yeah, so it's his neck pickup. And I put it in this guitar, and it is amazing.
I didn't know you'd done that.
I found the original just too dark. I just wasn't getting a good balance.
Jim Weeder, Big T.
The Big T, that's the one.
Telecaster neck pickup. Higher output, but without the darker tone.
Yeah, and it just works so well in this. Yeah, really, really like it.
Nice. A recommendation then?
Yeah. Getting neck pickups and Telecasters, getting them right is tricky. So Don Mayer and this one, both really awesome choices.
Especially for someone like Dan who likes a brighter sound.
Yeah.
So Dan doesn't know that there's a tone pot on the Telecaster. Literally no idea it's there.
Oh.
AC amps, cranked. Dan likes treble. So it puts into some context why that neck pickup seems a little bit woolly to you.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's lovely. Really lovely.
Nice. Brian Garcia. Hello, Brian. He says, your vlog inspired me to get a casino coupe. Nice.
No, lovely.
That's the one with the smaller body. Upgraded with lollers, 50s wiring, new nut, new tuners, and a tone post bridge. I couldn't be happier.
New neck, new body. It's amazing.
Triggers broom. Funnily enough, my tech is named Mick. Must be something in the name.
Brilliant.
Good on you, Brian. I hope, yeah, that sounds pretty killer, actually. Blimey. The nut is such a big deal on those guitars.
Right.
If you can't go to the hassle of having it replaced with something nice with a beautiful job, and 98% of you out there will know this, but if you just pull all the strings out the slots, bang some rubber pencil over the nut, and let the graphite from the pencil lead go into the slots and then put the strings back, you'll find that the tuning stability is greatly improved. It's a really easy and quick fix for anyone who has trouble, because obviously, well, not obviously, but the strings go through the nut and then they splay off. And what normally happens, especially on cost-effective guitars, is that nut isn't the most necessarily beautifully crafted nut in the world, and therefore it sticks.
Yeah.
So it sounds, I mean, almost so obvious we shouldn't need to say it, but it does make a massive difference.
Totally.
I did it on the casino before we did Friday's show, Thursday's show, whenever I used it last, and it just stayed in tune.
Yeah. Makes a big difference, that stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're putting tension here, especially when you're bending, and you're pulling the tension past the nut.
Yeah.
And to go back into tune, you need to slip back.
Yeah.
And if it's sticking there, you're going to have problems.
There we go. Hope you enjoy that 3 Casino Coupe, Brian. Patinator 37 says, cheers. Thanks for the hotcake suggestion. My AC30, for my AC30, it's on its way. Now, do I put it before or after my plimsoll?
The plimsoll's, I'd put it after the plimsoll. The plimsoll's quite a heavy thing, isn't it?
It depends.
You can run, okay, if you're running the plimsoll with loads of gain, put the hotcake after. If you're running the plimsoll as a booster, put the hotcake before the plimsoll.
Yeah.
Really, really great pedal, the plimsoll.
Yeah, it's got that secondary, it's kind of, the full tone plimsoll, it's, what is it? It's kind of mid-pushy, but not overtly tube screamery, just a good fat natural overdrive. But then it's got a secondary gain stage, which is a hard clipper,
Right.
which you can dial in.
Nice.
It's pretty touch sensitive. It's a very nice pedal as the plimsoll.
Nice.
Anyway, yeah, so what he said, if you're running it, plimsoll as a boost, put it after, or put the least gainy pedal on the end. Because if you've got the gain turned up a lot in the hotcake, you really don't need a great deal more gain in that, do you?
No, no.
Unless you want to use like a treble booster or something.
Yeah. Treble booster into a hotcake sounds incredible.
Jay Yelton, hello Jay. Thanks for the awesome over-the-top DIY delay video.
You're very welcome.
Could you explain how the wetter box is wired in? Or as a separate video? I have 2 of them and I'm confused. Jay, there were quite extensive diagrams all the way through that, so that should explain it. But
I can give you. Well, give me 2 seconds. I'll quickly show you now.
I guess one point of potential with the confusion with the wetter box is that it is stereo.
The only... So, how's that looking?
Where's the wetter box?
Where are we? Okay, so this is the wetter box here.
You were okay where it was, mate?
Was I?
Yeah, it was just visible.
Okay, but okay. All of this, everything else is the wet signal. Okay, so the guitar goes in here, it's split, it goes into all of this, then stereo back into the wetter box, and you'll see when I dial this in on the video that I can mix out all of the wet signal. But because the wetter box is stereo, it's stereo, I can send mono send, stereo return. So yeah, that's it. Simple.
Yeah. Presumably you've watched a Wetterbox video on Dan's Skigrig channel, where we talk a little bit about it. But if you're still confused, please email the support at the Gigrig and they will help you. Yes.
Indeed.
Dan B. Dan, I've been thinking about you all week actually. He says, thanks for your advice last week on recording my son. I've decided to give him an old iPhone with an iOS interface and leave him to it.
There you go.
I felt bad about what I said last week, all week.
Did you?
I sounded like I was trying to be preachy, and I promise I wasn't trying to be preachy. I was saying that, don't push your kids too hard or push them into it, which is just not my job to say any of those things. It's just not my job, and I've been feeling bad about it. But anyway, that's great. I'm glad he's getting on with it, Dan, and see what you've done there. See, you've enabled.
There you go.
And that's the best thing, isn't it?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And then I guess if he doesn't do a song a week, just no dinner.
And only dinner if the song sells.
Yeah.
Get it up on Bandcamp.
Yeah.
What's for dinner
Sorry,
tonight,
James.
Dad? You've got beans.
Only 50 sales this week. Rice for dinner, Sonny.
50 grains of rice.
Good on you, Dan. And I apologise if you took any offence to that. I certainly didn't mean Christopher Burnett says, I had problems for years with my fingers going numb after playing for 15 minutes or so. Had ulnar nerve transposition surgery 2 weeks ago, and I can now play with no issues.
Wow.
Best wishes to Dan and Mick for all you do.
Oh, well
Wow.
done, mate. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Ulnar nerve transposition.
Wow.
Never heard of that. Good on you.
Amazing.
It's really scary, isn't it? Anything to do with your hands and, like, you know, I don't want to tempt fate, but, you know, you get various cuts and little injuries over the years, and yes, ooh, blimey. Good on you. Kongcho Grinchen says, I just received my Gladio double preamp to go with my Prince of Tone and Tumnus. Can you suggest the basic inline order to start off with?
Prince of Tone, Tumnus. Okay. Tumnus right at the end. Start with the...
Two Prince of Tones.
Two Prince of Tones. Okay. Two Prince of Tones right at the end.
It's really hard. This.
Tricky. Because you can... Those pedals, they've got a real gain range on them.
Yeah.
Put the pedal that you're using that has the most amount of gain, put at the front. The pedal that you're using as the boost, put at the end of the gain stages. The Prince of Tone is an awesome boost pedal. It really is. I put one on Stephen Wilson's board years ago, and then a couple of years later, he wanted to rejigger the board. We tried a bunch of things to replace the Prince of Tone, and the Prince of Tone just killed everything.
Just worked.
It was
in.
fantastic. So I love that as a boost.
That's another show we can do.
Yeah. So I love that as a boost. And then, you know, put the pedal that you're using for the most gain right at the front. So that might be the Gladio.
May well be the Gladio, yeah.
You know, and then work your way that way. The only thing is, if you're going to use something like a treble booster, put that in the front of the gainier pedals, and that will push them into overdrive. But yeah, start with the gainiest pedal, and then end with the least gainiest that you're using for your boost.
As Dan said, it is a real challenge when the pedals you're using have got such a wide range of gain. You know, the Gladio is all you can eat, really. It does pretty much everything you'd want it to do. We were using it in the show on Friday that will come out this Friday. It does have a very strong mid-range push.
Yeah.
Well,
it's that Dumbly thing, isn't it? It's that Dumbly voicing.
So you've got your one of your decisions is, you know, with the Prince of Tone, for example, yes, it's a little bit mid-humped, but it's a pretty open-sounding overdrive, as is the Tumnus, depending on how you have it set. So bear in mind that whatever you put first then has that sort of, well, will have a pre-shaping effect on everything that happens downstream. And if you put it at the end, it has a post-shaping effect on everything that happens downstream. And of course, if you're never going to use two of them together, like, for example, you're never going to use the Gladio and the two Prince of Tones together, it doesn't matter what order they're in.
Yep.
So, yeah. Good luck.
Good luck, mate. Good luck.
Very lovely selection of overdrives. Hi again, says John Newquist. I just switched to a PRS 5815S from Telly's, and my blue fuzz face mini is woofy. Will the Bonamassa fuzz face really fix this as claimed? 5815S.
Well, the Bonamassa fuzz does work well with humbuckers, right?
That's what it's for.
Yeah.
He had it tweaked so that it doesn't get as woofy. So I've got the big one there, and that definitely is not as woofy as the as my other fuzz faces.
So your big one isn't as woofy.
Yeah. But it might be, you know, any fuzz face that sounds properly like a fuzz face. Part of that sound is that big woolly bass.
Yeah, fuzz. That sort of fuzz with humbuckers is challenging. But the Joe Bonamassa fuzz does take them into account because he.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you might find that actually you prefer a different fuzz flavour with that guitar.
Yeah.
Something more tone bendery.
Like tone benders and humbuckers are just a wonderful combination.
Yeah, it's just finding one that will work for you.
Mm.
The JHS Bender is really good.
Yeah, it is great.
Maybe give that a go.
Mm-hmm.
My Harmonious Monk was delivered today, says Prog Doggy.
Awesome.
Thank you for buying one. He says, thanks for everything you guys do. It keeps me inspired to play during these tough times.
Oh, well done, mate.
Good on you. Thanks for buying one of those. Loads more Harmonious Monk on the video on Friday. What's the difference between 60 and 62 Telly and 62 and 63 Strat except pickups? It looks like they're pretty much the same thing. I'm talking about the custom shop, says Matej Hahn.
When did they go from the round lamb to the slab?
Oh, I see. Okay, so you're going, what's the difference between a 60 and a 62 Telly and a 62 and a 63 Strat?
Yes.
Yes. The round lamb happened 62, late 62, I think, didn't it?
Okay, so if you get an early 62, you'll have the slab board, and then 63, you'll have a round lamb board, which is where the fingerboard is curved. I don't know here. Yeah, the fingerboard is curved, but the earlier ones, early 62, there'll be a flat fingerboard base and then rounded on top.
Yep. So yeah, with the Strats, it could be that. It could be the way the fingerboard is arranged. It could also be the neck shape.
Yeah.
They kind of got thicker from 60, and then in 63 they were thicker. So it could be something to do with the neck shape. Trying to think what else changed. The bigger change for the Strat happened in 64 when the pickup types changed. The pickguard screw moved. So 62 and 63 Strats. Maybe the finishes were slightly different. The sunbursts were different or something like that. The other thing to check is the bodywood. One might be ash. One might be older. And that's the thing worth checking on the Tellys as well. So Dan's Telly, for example, is the 63 reissue, and it's got a couple of things that aren't very Telly about it in some people's minds. One, it's got an older body. This is red. And it's also got staggered beveled magnets on the bridge pickup. So it could be something to do with that. You know, you might find on the 60 it's got a flat pole.
Yeah.
So yeah, so check neck shape, bodywood, fingerboard arrangement, i.e. is it a slab board or a round lamb, pickups, and if any of those are different, then that's quite a different guitar.
There you go.
Good luck.
Yep. How we doing?
Martin Cable. When finding your sound, can what songs you play affect it? While I want to play like SRV, I don't always want to sound like him. I want it to be my pride and joy. Or is imitating others essential to finding your own voice? What an interesting question.
Oh boy. You know what I'd say to that? Have a listen to Philip Sace. Because he has that SRV attack, but doesn't really sound anything like him.
Nothing like him.
You know what I mean? He's really got his own thing. I think, yeah, it's a great question though.
I would say if in this searching for your sound, you're not stumbling across it immediately, pick your next favourite guitar player, whoever that might be. Let's say it's Albert King. How would Albert King play Pride and Joy? And try that.
Interesting.
And if your next player after Albert King is BB King, how would BB King play Pride and Joy?
Right.
And that might help you sort of stumble through the meadow of your favourite guitar players towards the glorious gate of freedom at the end.
Right. Lovely. Very good. I like that. Well done.
I was inspired.
Yep.
Dwayne Delario. Hello, Dwayne.
Hey, Dwayne.
He says, hello from LA, guys. I'm in the market for a 335 to play big brother to my 1970 SG. Rumours are that models made after 2002-ish suck. Any advice navigating these waters, or should I just get a Gretsch Black Falcon? Right, Dwayne, anyone that says guitars before or after this point suck, are bad, are good, is just too reductive. So it's never true.
Never.
There are some things that are true, like, you know, both Gibson and Fender had pretty shocking quality control issues through much of the mid and late 1970s. Those things are, but that doesn't mean you won't find a great guitar in there. In my personal opinion, the best 335s that Gibson has made in recent history have been the Memphis ones that made in the Memphis facility that was closed down last year or the year before maybe, and all of that production moved to Nashville. If I was buying a 335, that's what I would buy. I'd find a Memphis. Because in my mind anyway, especially if it's got the VOS finish, that's the closest they've come to the old ones as I've seen in ages. Some of the custom shop ones are really nice. And as with everything else Gibson standard, it's potluck.
Yep. A friend of mine went to their factory and did the tour, and he was stunned. He said they just take a neck, they just grab a body and they just shove it on there. He thought they're going to be going around with stethoscopes and pitchforks and getting them all tuned and stuff. He's like, no, they just grab one, stick it on. I was like, yeah.
But should you just get a Gretsch Black Falcon? Well, yes.
That's
of
always the
course.
answer.
Who doesn't want a Gretsch Black Falcon?
Yep.
I mean, goodness me. Completely different thing to a 335, but blimey, what a cool guitar.
Amazing.
Good luck. Edved796. Edved, no question from you. I'll just check if somebody's sent us one. No. Are you called 796 because you've got a Ducati Monster 796 by any chance? Just out of interest there. Kira and Gina want to know, what are your thoughts on the Keeley Supermod workstation?
It's tricky, isn't it?
Great introduction.
Great introduction to modulation pedals.
Yeah.
Compact, really powerful, sounds really good. For me, the biggest, when you're looking at modulation pedals, if they're a really big part of your sound like they are for me, I can't go past analog modulation, because to get the digital modulation, there's got to be latency in there because it's got to be processed. Excuse me. You know, the whole signal's got to be processed. So, yeah, that doesn't work for me personally. However, if you want to try it, if you want to have access to a whole bunch of those sounds, then they're fantastic. Robert and the guys at Keeley do such a good job on voicing those things. The workstations are a brilliant idea, and really compact. There's a ton of stuff going on, and if that's what you're interested in, fantastic, go for it. They're great.
Yes, awesome value for money as well.
If what you're after is just a good phaser sound, go and get the new MXR Phase 95. Good.
Our pad is on, Dan.
Hey!
Our pad.
Awesome!
It's great to see you here.
Yeah, mate.
He says, idea for a challenge. Wet, dry, wet, 200 seats, no PA. Pink Floyd is in the set list. Both of ye going.
Done.
Awesome. Can we wear chainmail? Victor Gustafsson says, hi, I have my dream rig. My MIJ 1990 Telly custom, a Brit Pedal Company Tone Bender Mark II, JHS fuzz, or JH2 fuzz, colour driver, Ripley Fall, Les Louis, which is the love pedal thing. Harmonious Monk. I love the way Harmonious Monk has now become Monk. People just call it Monk.
The Monk.
You know you've arrived when you don't even have to say the full word anymore.
Awesome.
You know.
HM.
Yeah.
I've got the
Yeah. Isn't it?
Perfect.
It's awesome. Ibanez AD202, Evans SE810, into a deluxe reverb reissue 68. Thanks for your help. That's a pretty serious.
Yeah, well done.
Pretty serious. Serious.
Amazing.
And Kira and Gina again want to know thoughts on the True Tone VS XO dual overdrive. I'm sorry to say I've never played it.
No, we don't have one. So excuse me 1 second.
Yeah, you need to go out and cough, Dan.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah. Insert all the COVID jokes here. Kevin Lee, I'll answer you while Dan is out coughing his... Dan is slightly asthmatic. And it is very dry in here. It's very dry in here. Mick, have you ever played the Michael Landau signature Strats, says Kevin Lee, that came out a few years ago? That's a guitar that seems right up your alley. Yes, I played a lot of them, actually. Well, I say a lot. I've played a goodly handful of them. I have actually played very briefly Michael Landau's Pink 63, I think it is. Every single one of those guitars I've played has been banging. I don't know quite how or why. But the Andersons had a 63 in, it was red, that was awesome. And a friend of ours called Will Goodfellow has a 68, Sunburst 68, that is a guitar that I will buy off him the day he decides he wants to sell it. It is one of the best Strats I've ever played. So, yes, have played the Michael Landau Strats and really love them.
Oh, man, they're amazing.
You all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good.
David Braniff says, don't be sleeping on the Vox AC10. I got a limited edition with Queenback speaker and it's great studio amp. No one's eyes bleed and it does the thing.
Vox, so I've got a really old AC10 Twin and they are wonderful amplifiers. I've never been a fan of that 10-inch speaker. I think the Hanwha ones are different though. And I think you're right, as a recording amplifier, they can be fantastic. Yeah, I've actually taken the preamp, the amplifier out of the combo and now put it in a head and record with it at home, and they are just wonderful.
It's mad, that amp. Absolutely crazy sounding thing. Yes, so whoever was asking about AC15s and Victory copper preamps before, David says, don't forget the AC10. It's a really worthy contender.
Yeah, good point.
Matthew Gordon, thanks for the knowledge and inspiration and hangs, he says. Our band, The Delta Sound, are releasing tracks from our debut album monthly. I think you and the TPS community will dig it. Streaming now. Peace. Okay, everyone.
Sound. Awesome.
Go and check out The Delta Sound, Delta Sound, which is Matthew Gordon. Check out their musical wares.
Indeed. Actually, went to Real World last Friday.
Oh, yes.
And went to hang out with Paul and
Scott McKeon,
whose album is now out.
Yes, please. We've got some of Scott's records, CDs at that Pedal Show store. If you want to hear really, really, really awesome kind of post-Hendrixy, slightly psychedelic-y, very jammy record of guitar amazement.
It's unreal.
Buy Scott's record.
Far out, man.
You don't have to buy it from us, but if you want to buy it from us, that would be cool.
That'd be cool. It's so good, though. The production on it, it just sounds like a proper record, you know?
It really does.
It's wonderful.
Scott McKeon.
Yep.
Scott McKeon.
We hope to have Scott on the show and playing live, and we can do all that again. Yeah, but I visited them over at Real World Studios. Far out, man. So amazing. I was supposed to go. So amazing.
Life gets in the way. Simon Keast. Simon says, maybe a case for playing a bit of acoustic guitar every week. I find an acoustic with 12s makes playing electric much easier. One full English on me, he says. Simon, wherever you can get a full English for $5, please let us know. Grateful though we are. You might get an egg for that here now. And a bean.
1 egg, 1 bean, please, sir. With 2 sets of cutlery.
It's fond memories of the Waverley Cafe in Bath, where we used to, as a student, obviously with a bit of a hangover, you go down there and have a full English. And that was, the waitress had a cigarette on, serving you your breakfast, you know, like, oh. Mark Kelly's Greasy Spoon for Status Quo fans. Yeah, I always find that if I'm playing a lot of acoustic, pick up the electric and it's like, oh my God, I'm John McLaughlin. Just playing all the wrong notes. Elusive Moose about the hoose says, I'm pairing a new Fender 68 Custom Vibrachamp Reverb
Nice.
in a 5-watt wet-dry rig with a Tweed Champ copy this weekend, and it's going to be glorious. I just wanted to thank you both for the inspiration to try wet-dry.
Small round of applause for that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah.
How lovely.
How cool. How cool. Hi from Nashville, says David Rutledge. This is cool. Just want to say I've never thought of a pedal board as a musical instrument until Friday's video. Well done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. First time I ever played first time we had the Echo Rec on the show is when I started thinking about them differently as they are an instrument in their own right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you. That's really cool. We do hope to get out to Nashville to film some shows out there. When everything starts back up again, come out and say hi.
Reese Mannion says, Boss MD200. Should I have it in the effects loop or before the amp?
You can. Depends on the rule of thumb with modulation. For me, is always in the front.
Yeah, we touch on that in Friday's video a bit. We talk about gain before and after, in this case, harmonic tremolo and univibe, which you can think of as modulation, even though they're not kind of, but they sort of are in this context. Maybe more helpful, Reese, if you run a lot of overdrive in your amp, you'll find that the modulations sound different before and after, and by putting it in the effects loop, what you're doing is you're running it after the overdrive in the front end of your amp. If you put it into the front, if you put it before, into the input, you've got modulation, then you've got overdrive. If it's in the effects loop, you've got overdrive, then modulation. So one of those sounds you'll prefer. If you're running the amp clean with just either a tiny bit of breakup or no overdrive, then you'll notice barely no difference running it in the front or in the loop. So, try both. And the biggest differences you'll notice are with the amp overdriving, and that's where you'll notice the big difference. Yeah. So, good luck. Chris Pyle says, I really appreciated the vlog on Are You Good Enough? Thanks for getting that out there for all of us that get in the way of our own creativity in music making. Please make more videos on crafting and recording your songs front to back. TPS forever.
Bless you. Thank you, mate.
Thank you, Chris.
Awesome.
DJ M-Check.
DJ.
A lot of guitarists melt down when a bassist plays an actual bass line. I feel like it's created a situation where it's hard to get bassists to take creative risks.
Interesting.
What are your thoughts on the state of bass today?
Boy, oh boy. Okay, my thoughts on bass. I had my dear friend Mark Kilminster come over and play bass for me for some tracks on the EP. And I'd done the guide bass and I thought I'd done pretty good. He comes over, I listen through each track and they're proggy type tracks. He says, listen through, all right. Plays straight through. I went, oh, okay. So that's a bass player.
What was different? How was it? How was him
Just
playing it?
because he could move, the movement between the chords was so lovely, and there wasn't just root note stuff, you know. He knew where to take it.
So was it timing? Was it technical? Was it?
It was
vocabulary?
harmony and feel,
Okay.
you know. But to get, you know, I guess because he's been playing with Doug for so long, and he just knows where Doug sits, and he just does that so effortlessly. It was beautiful. But there are, like any song player, you know, guitar, you can get away with moving things around. Bass player, it's got to be the foundation, you know. And of course, you've got some harmonic choices that you can make with that. But unless you've got, you know, Bootsy Collins, get it on a worm. You know, here we go.
With that exact expression.
You know, he can. The thing is, he said, you can play whatever you like, but as long as you've got to get back on the one.
It's so hard to play bass, man.
It is really hard.
Call up your favourite music player of choice. Listen to a song called "She Caught the Katy" off the Blues Brothers motion picture soundtrack. Listen to the bass line in that, played by Donald Duck Dunn. It's utterly mental. It's kind of Jameson level. And then call up YouTube and look at some of the graphic representations of some of
what they are. It's
James Jameson's bass lines.
please. It's unreal.
Wow. Yeah, so it's about what's appropriate for the song, isn't it?
Yeah, listen to Paul McCartney's bass playing.
You know,
Blink and heck.
I'm a massive Cream fan. I love Cream. I think they did some amazing stuff, but even I've got to turn off when Jack's like do 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 like in the middle of Eric's solo. I'm like, no, not now.
Yeah.
All right, not now, mate. So I think it's about what's appropriate. If you're playing a nice soul tune or something that's funky, you just want it, don't you? Listen to Pino Palladino's bass playing on the D'Angelo records. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Just
the artistry and skill involved in that is staggering.
Yeah.
Staggering.
it's just what's appropriate, isn't it?
Yep.
Paddy, if you're watching, thanks for being an awesome bass player.
Yeah.
Paddy, a friend of ours, bass player, plays in the TPS band when it's functioning.
Wonderful.
And I never ever look at Pad and go, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
It's always, "Wow."
It's always, Dan, what are you
That's
doing?
nice. Yeah. Anyway, apart from that, P bass, Ampeg, SVT, and an 8x12, and stay out of my frequency range.
Perfect.
Yeah, what do they say about kids? Should be seen and not heard.
Seen and not heard. Yeah.
Bass player should be felt and not heard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, maybe. Bobby Dorrance. Hello, Bobby. What's the difference between a clean boost into a single channel non-master volume amp versus turning the amp volume up? Princeton Reverb specifically. So Bobby's saying he's got his Princeton Reverb.
Yep.
What's the difference between using a clean boost or just turning the amp up?
So if you're hitting a clean boost into the front end, you're saturating the preamp stage of the amplifier. When you turn your amp up, you are taking that level and saturating the output stage of the amplifier. So you've got the preamp will be working, but you're letting more signal into the output stage, and the output stage starts to clip. And you get that working, it's a different feel, it's a different sound. The saturation for the output stage is different. Both are really cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of grey area in there because you might find that using a clean boost does push that.
It gets enough signal through, depending on what's going on with the preamp.
Could start affecting the power section. But yeah, like he said, driving the preamp or the power section is a different sort of feel. And actually, there's no reason why using all of the above couldn't be a really cool thing.
Totally.
So, you know, whether you've got the amp set a bit more cranked so it's there if you want it without the boost, but maybe you've got the boost, which could send it, you know, over the top, or you can turn the guitar down a bit to get an even sort of more different texture. A lot of people, the natural thing is to think about a boost as a more pedal. Well, it's just as useful, in fact more useful in my personal case, as a less pedal. So you have the boost on, you turn the guitar down, that's where all your dynamic comes from.
Yep.
Yeah, nice though, nice. R-Pad's on again. He says, Mick, you've proven time and again in this show that you're an artist. Thanks, man.
I keep telling him, he won't listen to me.
Thanks. My wife calls me a word that's similar, which is not artist. She doesn't, actually. Peter Glasby. Thank you, Peter. No super chat, so maybe someone has sent it through. Maybe BB sent it through, which he has not. Daniel McGuinness. Hello, Daniel. I'm replacing my 68 Custom Deluxe Reverb with a 64 Custom Deluxe Reverb for ease of maintenance by a qualified tech. Have you gents tried one yet? Okay, so what Daniel's saying is the 64 Custom Deluxe Reverb is hand-wired, point to point.
Right.
And the 68 Custom Deluxe is presumably on a PCB, which is slightly harder to work on. Not impossible, by any stretch of the imagination, but slightly harder. Have we tried the 64 Custom Deluxe Reverb yet? No. I've heard one, but we haven't had one in here.
No. We've got our one, which
regular
is
PCB one, yeah.
Regular PCB one, which is lovely. And I don't want to hear another one just yet.
No.
I don't need to hear all that loveliness.
No. It is a problem, you know, when you do this sort of thing. And you can justify to your significant other and business partner buying stuff. Sometimes it's healthier just to not hear it.
Yeah.
Case in point, I wish I hadn't gone down the casino route, because now I want a 330 so bad it actually hurts.
And you should have it. You absolutely should have it.
I don't need more guitars, do I? Look, it's ridiculous.
But you should still have it.
Yeah, right. Okay, I think that's us. Let's check where we are. That is us. Nice.
You like that?
Yeah, yeah.
I do it everywhere.
Dan is fostering his Albert King tendencies.
In so many ways.
Yeah. Nice. I like it. Okay. That is us. Just checking that everything is okay. Cool.
Thank you all for hanging out. It's been lovely.
Dave, I'll leave it to Dave. Cheddar Kung Pao says, Mick, get a Collings i30 instead of a 330. It's more different because it's Collings. I know. Don't get me wrong. Project Music in Exeter's got a black one, aged one for sale. It's 5,000 quid. And it's just too much. I can get a nice 330 for between 2.5 and 3.
Yeah. That one you're looking at, though, is stunning.
And 5's just too much for me, unfortunately. Normally I would say I don't care, wouldn't compromise, but once you start talking that money, it's
yeah, totally.
It's just too much for me at this point in my life. So yeah. Good. David Burke, Mick speaks of significant other and business partner as if they're two different people. They're one and the same. Actually, my wife is also my and our business partner. So, yeah. When it all goes wrong, it'll be really messy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, good.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for being with us.
Yep. This week we've got Vibe versus
Harmonic
Tremolo.
Yeah,
Indeed.
it's interesting actually. Some pretty
Really interesting.
raucous noises.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Till then, have a fantastic week,
indeed.
and we will see you same bat time, same bat channel.
Cheerio indeed.
Thank you, linesman. Thank you, ball boys.